Okay, so we're going to review a little bit from last week and then get into this week. And what I find so fascinating is that the Rebbe said the Sikha 30 years ago, and yet it was like sort of like a prophecy that in 30 years, we're going to finally understand what this is, because nobody really understood the Sikha till now. And what's even more fascinating is that I find that like even the breaks that I need to take are intentional min hashamayim, because like I'm in touch with a lot of intuitives and they're getting the same information that I'm seeing in the Sikha that week. They're getting it. Like it's coming into the world right then and there. Like, this is what we have to know now. This is what we have to know now. I'm like, that's what I'm up to in the Sikha. It's amazing. It's just, I'm getting the chills just talking about it. So it's like to see Hashem so clearly is just mind blowing. And it's very, very exciting. It just makes Geula so real, and it makes Hashem so real. It makes everything so real. Okay, so this class is the merit of our brothers and sisters in the Ukraine, or that have left the Ukraine. And the intention of this class is to tap into the kayach of safety and revealed miracles and redemption. And ultimately, that there should be a peaceful resolution for the good of the universe. And that's really, it's fascinating because the Sikha is actually touches on to that. If you know what you're looking for, you understand what you're seeing, this Sikha touches on the way that they're going to find peaceful resolutions for everything in the future, how we're going to resolve all our differences. It's going to be a whole different way. Okay, so I'm going to get into that as we go into the Sikha, into the review and into the Sikha. So last week we spoke about the fact that the reason why Hashem innovated the novelty of Baal Parai was so that Moshe should be able to, as a soul within a body, which is, you're talking about two paradoxes, like a soul is energy and a body is material, right? And it's, how do they really work together? But yet, as a soul within a body, to be able to internalize the revelation of the gushing of all the lights, which is the highest secrets of Atmos, to really, it's so intense. How could a body grasp Hashem and know understand everything and internalize such high, great lights, intense lights, and understand all the secrets? So the whole point of this command was to give Moshe the kayach to be able to do such a thing, is it to be in a body. Malachim cannot do that, right? Malachim, they come, neshamas and shamayim come down here so that they could touch Atmos. You can't do that above, right? So this is something really, really heavy duty, to be able to grasp Atmos and to connect, to be one with Hashem while we're still in a material body. And that's the culmination of everything. That's the whole purpose of the Torah. That's the whole purpose of creation of the world, is to be able to reveal essence through our body, to the essence of Hashem, and to be, and through our material, which is like the lowest thing, to be able to reveal the highest things, the highest and the lowest. And so that's the ability to do such a thing in a human body is through the kayach of Baal Parai. And that's the secret of the great snake. The secret of how we're going to get out of Galus and create Geula. Because when we redeem all those powerful Tohu lights that are imprisoned behind the klippos, and we learn how to use them and channel them in a way that brings us into a state of expansiveness and peace of calm, this is how we bring into completion the fulfillment of the ultimate purpose of creation of the entire world, which was that Hashem desired to have a residence in this lowest world. Okay, and what's fascinating to understand is that when we bedafka redeem these lights that are trapped behind the klippos, the Tohu lights, we are disempowering the evil. As long as they get to use it in their convoluted, distorted way, and nobody's redeeming it, that evil exists. The way to disempower evil is to say, I have a better way to use that light. I'm going to use it. I'm going to steal that from you and use that for me. And that is not only going to put me in a better place, but it's going to heal the whole world. Not going to destroy the world, it's going to heal the world, heal me, heal myself, heal everybody, and reveal Atzmos, reveal Hashem's essence through me. So this is so, so powerful. It's bedafka, and the Rebbe's going to get into it, bedafka through figuring out what those lights are that they have. And they're just, by the time it got down here, it's so distorted, you can't even figure out what the truth is over there. And taking that and using it in a holy way. But it's holy doesn't mean things like, saying chitas with it. Holy means channeling it in the right way that it uplifts you. It makes you a better person. It makes you more compassionate, more healthy, heals your triggers, puts you in a state of amunah and bitachon. That's what we're talking about. It's a whole new level. It's not just the spirituality. It's to take us to a whole new level of knowing Hashem and being in total, surrender. It's a whole different, we're talking about a whole different level of the Torah. And and in this way, and it's fascinating because what's fascinating is when we're using this light, we are able to be true to ourselves, and then we finally feel good ourselves. We feel at home in the world because we're allowed to be. It gives ourselves permission to be us, because that's exactly how Hashem wanted us to be. That's why He created us that way. Our truth. We're not talking about our distorted selves. We're talking about our true selves, and only we know, because we learned the art of figuring out: does this resonate? Does this work? Does this bring me up? Does this uplift me? Does this take me down? Does this feel peaceful? Does this not? Right? We're the ones who are the masters, and that allows us to feel at home in this world, and Hashem feels at home because Hashem just wants to be expressed through us. So that's the beauty. So we learned last week the Hashem says, "I am Havaya, who created the." So Moshe said, right, when Hashem said to speak to Paroh, he said, I can't speak. I have the speech impediment, right? So the Rebbe, so Hashem says, well, I'm the one who created and Moshe says, I'm from the light of Tohu, and I don't have the kalim to express it in this world. And it's fascinating when we realize that the solution is unify Hashem, right? Because what's Tohu? Tohu is really our truth, our worthiness, being authentic, right? That helps us become that. It helps reveal that. But if you don't realize like the real, what's behind it, it's because we're one with Hashem, we're Hashem's essence, and Hashem has a different way of expressing Himself through every single person. So we don't have the Naichi, the I am piece. So that's the piece He was missing. He knew the truth. He knew there's something, but he can't put it into words. And that's how I explained last week. Like that was also the same thing with the Nefesh Bahamas. Why is there the distortion, right? Why do we act the way we act? Because we also know deep down there's something off with the picture, but we couldn't put it into words because we didn't even know what's the truth. So we forced ourselves to be what we're not, and live in a way which was not in alignment with ourselves, because we didn't know about the Anaichi piece, who I am one with Hashem, and Hashem wants to be expressed through me in a certain way, and He wants me to use these kaiches, which we used to suppress and all that, right? We didn't have that I am piece. So it's fascinating how it says that during when Moshe was in Mitzrayim, Hashem said, "Anaichi, I will speak through you." But the Rebbe said that wasn't yet the full healing. That was sort of like a band-aid. Through Anaichi, Moshe was able to express. It's fascinating, express himself to Paroh. But then finally, by Matan Torah, when it was through the Asar Sedibrais, Anaichi Hashem, he got his healing. So it's the I am. It's the I am, which we use in our healing triggers technique to bring us to reveal our essence. It's amazing. So that's the healing. It's right here. If you know what you're looking for, it's right over here. Okay, now when we do this final avodah, okay, I want to get into another piece. Okay, so now Hashem says, so through me speaking for you or through you, I am able to put the aspects of Tohu and Tikkun together in a way, you have to listen to this is the most important piece, that they express the benefits of both together. The manifold lights, which are Tohu, and the manifold vessels of Tikkun. And that is the secret, also the secret of how to resolve all conflict in a Geula way. Okay? It's that it's not in the past, if we just judge things, this is wrong, that's it, we can't deal with it. Now what we're understanding is that even things that we judged as wrong, there's a truth. And if you take out that truth, you can work and find the solution. It's not going to be, what you thought it was going to be, but it's going to be in a way that it honors both sides. And it's like a third way. It's a third way. So for example, I'll give you an example. When I was wanted to make a Hanukkah party for my kids, but I knew that to host them in my house, I wasn't feeling that good. I was feeling good enough to cook all the food and wrap all the gifts and everything, but I wasn't feeling good enough to have everybody for the whole day and all that. I just knew, right? So in the black and white thinking of the past, that's it. We can't do it. But now, and this is the way all the problems are going to be solved, there's another way. And when you're living in this light of Tohu, in this uplifted energy, you can find solutions. So what did I do? I made all the food, and I bought all the beautiful paper goods, and I wrapped all the gifts. And I told my son to pick it up, and then they took it to their house. And then we did a Zoom Hanukkah party. And so we lit the candles together, we sang together, and I benefited that the mess was only for a few hours, and then it's out. My daughter-in-law benefited that she didn't have to cook in the house. It wasn't a mess, so she only had, everybody got benefits. And actually, the kids got more attention because usually when they come to me, they're running around with the toys and nobody's talking to them. The adults are talking. Now, we're on Zoom, everybody got attention, and it was mamish, the most beautiful. And I made like donuts with toppings and fillings that they had to do themselves. It was a ganz beautiful event. But that's the idea. The idea is it's not like you have to throw the whole thing out. We could be creative in finding ways that everybody benefits. There's the Hanukkah party, but it's not like this. It's like the same thing with a baby, right? You have a man and a woman, right? And what do they give birth to? A baby. A baby is not the man, it's not the woman, it's something else. It's a baby. They both created something beautiful. And the man still stays a man and the woman still stays a woman. You don't have to, and that's the solution with the Rebbe saying, in a way that they press the benefits of both together, the manifold lights, which are Tohu, and the manifold vessels of Tikkun. And that is how, this is what I understood on a greater level last week. And, but not that I haven't been using it, but just the appreciation of what this is saying, that this is how to solve for the future all problems with polar opposites and the difference of opinions. You don't have to throw it out. There's a way, and it's, and I will get more into it to make everybody happy. Not that you have to compromise yourself and lose yourself for the other person. No, there's a way that you could both be happy, and there's a third solution. And that's what we're getting into. This is the Geula giving birth. This is what we're giving birth to. It's the face-to-face unity, and we're giving birth to solutions that make everybody happy without compromising each other. Like you don't get lost in it. So at that time, Moshe didn't have the kalim, right? And he couldn't do it. But the Rebbe says, and now we completed the Vaidus Habarum, and we have the kalim. The Rebbe says it clearly. So now, when we do this final Avodah, which requires healing the traumas and triggers, and you can listen to Yossi Jacobson, he elaborates more on that, because if you want to redeem the lights of Tohu and you're triggered, you can't redeem those lights. You get all hysterical every time. So you have to do both. You have to heal the triggers, and you have to do things that put you in a place of adala yada, in above das. And when we do self-care, pleasure, and tune in, and the healing triggers, we find ourselves eventually, most of the time, in this place. We're in the place of living in the moment, and the place of beyond logic. We're not in our head. When you tuned into your body and you listen to what you need to do, and you take care of yourself, and you mind your energy, and you make sure you have also elevated energy, pleasure, that is the recipe for how to be in this out of your head and in this expansive state. First of all, where you can figure out all these solutions, and where, all the miracles happens. You're connected to this miracle energy. You're out of Gullus, everybody out of Gullus. It starts from that. And it's mamish, that's the recipe. That is the recipe. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm not always there, but I could tell you, Baruch Hashem. So, there's nothing like experiencing it, that I live it most of the time. And listen, that's, I'll be an advertisement for God, it's not theoretical for me. It's reality. So, but there's always new, of course, there could be new triggers and new things, but it's part of, part of peeling off layers and layers. But there's enough time that I'm living in that, state, that I could, what's it called? Say that this is MS, that this is Taka, what it's all about. So in this state, we're able to let go of the linear way of doing things and embrace a multi-dimensional way of seeing things, to realize that there are other layers happening at the same time. And that just because we start seeing things from one lens doesn't mean that we're not feeling the pain of what's occurring. So like, right, what's going on in the world, right? It doesn't mean that, just because you're in a state of pleasure or you're uplifted, doesn't mean that you're not also crying at the same time for what's going on, right, in the world. You could be, the beauty is that when you're doing this work, you're able to be experience many different things at the same time, okay? So for example, even myself, sometimes I do things that are very, very challenging, and I don't really like doing them, right? And I wish I didn't have to, but whatever, I know Hashem wants me from, okay. So how do you know it's the right thing? First of all, I don't like to do it in my head or whatever, just whatever, I don't like it, okay? But from my heart tells me it's the right thing. It comes from within. Then my body's at peace. My body's at peace when I do the right thing. When I don't, even if it's uncomfortable, when I don't do it, my body's not at peace. I feel agitated, I can't breathe, right? So it's like, you got to tune in, you got to learn the language. So as long as I'm doing it, I'm at peace, and I'm growing, and I'm getting close, I'm in a sort of state of surrender, you're on the right path. When you're, even if you don't like everything that you do, it's not like you love everything, but if that's what Hashem wants you to do, then, you see what's coming out, the results, okay? So what I appreciated most is that I could feel many things at the same time. I tell people I feel pain in my heart, but peace in my body. I feel, like, surrendered and this and that at the same time, this and that. You can feel all of it. There's no contradiction. That's what the beauty is. We're getting out of our limitations, and we're able to feel many things, and they're all valid. Many things at all times. And we're not in one dimension anymore. We're getting out of that, and they're all valid, because this part of you has to feel that, and that part of you has to feel that, and that you can feel all of them. So that's the beauty. So we could always stay in our hearts, but we could allow diversity as a unified field, and we can know, like a natural knowing, that Hashem has a bigger and better plan. Why can we? Why am I feeling at peace? Because I know that through doing this work, that Hashem is only doing it for my good, okay? So whatever's going on, for example, and I don't know the future and I don't know anything, let's say people who are forced to flee to Eretz Yisrael, maybe Hashem wants them to live in Israel. And maybe they wouldn't be able to afford it, so Hashem is causing that people should raise money they can afford to live in Israel, and that's where they're supposed to be. How do we know? You know what I mean? It's like, yes, they're in the pain and we feel the pain, but who said it's not for something even better, right? We don't have to judge it as, because it looks bad, then it's all wrong. We have to get out of that. And who said it's cruel? We don't know. You know, I mean, obviously Hashem is doing everything for Geula, so we'll see later. We'll understand. But bottom line is, doesn't mean you don't feel compassion and pain, because even for ourselves, doing the work, that's part of the work, to feel compassion and pain for our own challenges and triggers. So it's not a contradiction. Doesn't mean you're not there. It's about including everything, to be able to feel the pain, and at the same time know without a doubt that somehow, and you don't even have to know how it's good. We don't have to know. We don't have to say, oh, it's good because this. We don't have to know. When you're in this place of transcendence, you just know that it's good. Do I know how? Do I know? Well, no, I just know. I feel that. It's like a silence. It's a silence that comes through. It's a peaceful silence, and you know, that's it. So this is the solution energy that we're birthing in the world through doing this work, through the Malchus work. Okay, almost done for that. So, okay. So now, by uplifting ourselves into this transcendent energy, which is above das, we are gifting the world with this kayach of finding solutions. Okay, so don't think because we're having, we're in a state of peace, where we're somehow not connected to what's going on in the world. No, we're actually, you can't give them this kayach if you're in the same, in that same situation. Somebody that's, triggered or whatever is not able to give that kayach. You can only give that kayach when you're in that place. So when we're doing this is the greatest thing we could do, is to be in this place where the solutions, where opposites could coexist. There's a third solution, and we're giving this to the world, and that's how the peace is going to come. Okay, so now we are going to start the new material. Okay, so let me get into share screen. It's not here. Where is it? It's not here. I know it's here. So where is it? Why is it not on my screen? Share screen. Share screen. Here it is. No, that's not it. Okay. Very interesting. One second. Let me close this. Let's see now. Share screen. No. Wait a second. Sorry. Parsha Spy. Trying to figure out how to get this onto the screen. It's not here. It's not here. Not here. Not here. That's strange. That is strange. A minute. We'll close this. Okay. No, sorry. Trying to get this onto the screen. No. Sorry. Okay, if anybody has anything to share while I'm trying to figure out how to get this on the screen, please do.
Yeah, hi, Bracha. I would like to share something.
Sure.
Hi, Bracha. Sorry, I can't come on camera, but I want to share something that I heard a video of the Rebbe speaking about. I think it's a gem video that, in order to bring, that the world is going through, how do you say, like a tumult and the way to, and the Rebbe's counsel for this is for Avas Yisrael. So I was thinking, and then the Rebbe speaks about Hareini Mekabel, the pasuk before Matoiva, and also Ach Tzadikim. So I was thinking, Hareini Mekabel Alai Mitzvahs Aseh Shel V'ahavta L'Recha Kamecha. What does that mean? I take upon myself everything that we've always learned about loving others. Now I take this upon myself for me. Now I'm gonna, all that love that I gave for everyone else, and I wanted everyone to be so comfortable and in a good place.
Wow.
And people. So now I want to take that upon myself.
Wow.
So
Beautiful.
I had that insight, and
wow.
and I had I was just thinking about, like people pleasing, which is something that's coming up a lot for me, like how, toxic that is, and how it's really a form of avodah zarah, and it's like an addiction also. People literally I'm seeing how big this is, and now I'm seeing, like, if I would, instead of people pleasing other people, I would please myself and see what can I do to please myself. Either take a walk, or maybe I want to daven, or maybe I want to rest, or whatever it is that I want to do. Then everything that we did, like, for others, now we could do it for ourselves. Like we wouldn't keep a guest, without food for till 2 p.m, let's say. I'm just giving an example, or whatever it is. So anyway, so that's what I thought. And everyone's so desperate and saying Tehillim, and like getting into the panic and the drama. And the Rebbe said that. He said it clearly, that saying these 2 psukim and speaking about Avos Yisrael and doing Avos Yisrael. So yeah, there's no panic. I don't hear the panic in the Rebbe's, advice to us on what to do when the world is. And maybe there is room for panic also. I don't know. Maybe there is a good side to that also, right? Like,
well, okay, yeah. So there's
Hashem, I don't know.
Right. So when it's used productively, when it doesn't take you down, when it brings you closer, right? Everything has but there's room for many different things at the same time. So if somebody, is in that higher dimension and could give that gift to the world, this is something that we weren't able to do before, right? So we're able to take those kaiches from the evil people that are doing this and use it in a holy way. That's more powerful than anything we could do. So if we're busy with that, we know that. Not everybody knows that, right? That's a big contribution, and that's Avos Yisrael. How much more Avos Yisrael than to tap into this miraculous energy, which was not available before, which gives solutions and all kinds, take everybody out of limitations, and what's his kayak, right? So Putin, whatever, he win at all costs, right? Okay, so let's for something good, let's win at all costs. And when you do that, you're taking away that kayak from him, because you took away the cover up, right? It was protected until you knew how to use it. Okay, now I know how to use it. Now you can't have it anymore. And before
I just didn't understand. But Bracha, I didn't understand the part that you said that there's no compromise and there's room for both, opposite opinions. And this is something, I'm hearing what you're saying. Right. I can intellectually, but I don't know. I don't know how to do, like, I know what that looks like.
Okay, so I gave an example. Like I'm saying, you don't have to compromise who you are. I'm not saying that there's never a compromise, but it's not really a compromise. It's we'll get again to more solutions, more examples, but I'll give an example. Somebody was asked to host a Sheva Brachas for somebody, and she agreed. She was very happy to do it, but then she realized that then something came up, and she realized that her kitchen's not going to be available because there's renovations and the timing, and it wasn't going to work. Okay, so the person thought, okay, so she's going to have to push off her whole kitchen because she promised the person that she's going to make the Sheva Brachas. I said, no, you don't have to compromise yourself. You need this kitchen for Pesach, right? You don't have to compromise yourself. So how about you telling the person, listen, be vulnerable, say, listen, I didn't realize that I was going to be doing renovations, and now I can have it for Pesach, right? But at the same time, I do want to participate in the Sheva Brachas. So how about if maybe you think you could find another place and I'll pay for the food? How's that sound? You see that? So like this, your black and white thinking is that, okay, I can't have the kitchen because I promised the Sheva Brachas. No. And so the person did it, and the people were very happy. That's what I'm saying. Like, we get stuck in, like, we're thinking it's all or none.
Can I?
No. What?
Can I give a can I give another example also?
Okay.
Oh, wait 1 second. Hold on. Sorry. I just got a call as I said that. Sorry. Hi.
Okay.
Just thinking like in relationships, right? You know, when people are really anxious, they want your support. Am I frozen?
No, I hear you.
Uh-oh.
Hello? Okay. So let's start, and then Nechama, we get Nechama back. We'll listen. We'll hear what she has to say. Zain, I think we're up to Zain. Okay. So through this is also understood.
I'm here, but
okay. So yeah, let's hear.
No, you could start. I'll share later.
Okay.
It's okay. You go.
Okay, sure.
You start.
Okay, so through this is also understood the matter of Baal Parif Kedusha, which is why Moshe was fearful. Moshe himself, who had an impediment of the mouth and impediment of the tongue, due to his lofty spiritual status of manifold great lights above vessels, was concerned. How is it possible for vessels to receive such great lights gushing forth? He understood the intensity of these great lights. Because why is it intense? Because if you use it wrong, it's destructive, right? Like selfishness, right? Or win at all costs, or whatever it is. There's so many we're going to go through. I wrote a whole list of things. Pleasure, desires, manipulation, judgment, saying no. All these things are so high. If you don't use it right, they could push it, destroy you. So he was afraid. Like, hey, I don't even know what to do with all this, right? So this then is a novelty innovation that came with Hashem's command, Kam Tapirei, when Hashem took Moshe from one heavenly chamber to the next. For through this, Hashem bestowed to him the fortitude of Hashem's own essence, so that the vessels of a soul within a body should be able to internalize all of the lofty revelations of Hashem's essence, the gushing forth from him all of the spiritual lights. Okay, so through the Chayach of Baal Parai, Hashem gave him the fortitude to be able to contain it. And that's what we now have. When the Rebbe said we have the Kalim, and we finished the Avodah Berurim, we refined the Klippas enough that we're not going to get so dragged into it. But everybody, of course, has to know, what they need healing for before they, and some things you still have to stay away from if it's too big for you, right? But this, Hashem gave it to him, but we now know how to give it to ourselves as well. And it's through healing the triggers and putting ourselves in this expansive energy, which the Rebbe actually said was the Chaf Beis Shvat, gift that the Rebbe gave us, is to be able now to connect to that higher level energy, which is that Tohu light, in a way that it takes us out of limitations. And it brings us into this level of, Hesach Hadas. It's like a total surrender, at peace. You don't have to know. You feel fine. Everybody can do whatever they want. You're fine, and you're still connected. You're still grounded. You're not detached. You're real. You're practical, and that's the beauty. The beauty is to be earthy and practical, and not detached, and not, out there. And still be, that's the thing, to be so grounded and so, connected, and be in this state where things don't get to you. That's the whole gift from Baal Parah. So you could internalize this, right, without losing yourself and wasting it and not knowing what to do with it. And the reason for this is that this is the ultimate purpose and perfection for all the order of the worlds, for all illuminations, even that of Parif Kedusha, that all heavenly lights gush forth. Okay, the idea is that Hashem wants us, the world, to become in a state of flow. And that's only through the connecting to the Tohu lights, all the stuff that we stayed away from, through now going in there and using it. That brings the world into a state of flow, where we're not so rigid, we're more expansive, we have solutions, we know what to do with things, we know how to use the lights, we know what to, and it doesn't destroy us, it actually uplifts us. And that's the idea. For it was desire of Hashem that he have a residence in the lower worlds, that within the limitations of soul within body, there be revelations of his essence. I don't know why this is getting me so emotional. This is why Hashem said to Moshe, come to Paroh. For Moshe, soul within body, needed to approach Paroh of Kedusha in order to receive and internalize the loftiest revelations from Hashem's essence, that of the gushing forth of all the light. So the idea is that Hashem wants us to be so practical and so grounded. That's the Malchus work, the sovereignty, to be like it's a lowest sphere, to be so grounded and yet be so above everything, and not into all this petty things and all that stuff, and know, how to, hold your ground, stand in a good place and not get, triggered and all that stuff. Ice fest. With this, we will understand also why Baal Paroh was the introduction and beginning of the Geula. This is additional to the straightforward meaning that through Kamtaparai of Klipa, which counterbalances Paroh of Kedusha, there came about the nullification and the breaking of the Klipa of Paroh in the way that it was in the time period of the palace of the king, the beginning of the Geula. There's yet a further primary reason. Okay, so the Rebbe said, so like on a simple level, the Rebbe is saying that there's a simple meaning, and then there's this higher meaning, which is the Geula understanding. Okay, so when Hashem said Baita Parai, so on a simple level, he was just destroying the klipa, which counterbalances of Parai, okay, which counterbalances the Paroh of Kedusha, so that they should be able to get out of Mitzrayim. Okay, but on a deeper level, this is mamish, the secrets of Geula and revelation, the final and completion. So yes, on a lower level, it's just simply about Mitzrayim itself. But on a deeper level and on a Geula level, we're understanding that this is mamish, the secrets for how to get out of those. In that the completion of Geula from Egypt is to bring Matan Torah for the reason of creation, a residence of lower worlds, the revelation of Hashem's energy, Anochi, below to the Jewish people, right? So Anochi again, the revelation of Anochi, that's how we heal all our triggers, by saying the I am affirmations after we feel the triggers and acknowledge them, okay? To the Jewish people as souls within bodies, a healthy soul within a healthy body. As is known that at Matan Torah, all the Jewish people were healed, including Moshe, as we've said above. So the Rebbe is saying that through doing this work, we are going to do like what was started at Matan Torah, that we are going to be healthy bodies. So if what we're doing is bringing us to unhealth, it's not we're not going in the right path. If we're being so stressed out and we keep on getting sick because that's not the point. The point is that if we're doing it right now, of course, yes, doing this work also, a lot of times people get sick because our bodies are changing, and it's a lot of stress on the body to be able to transform, to be able to contain such great lights. Okay, but we're talking about the way of living that we lived in the past, which did not allow us to be healthy, and that's why the world has so much illness, because we were not living in a way that is true to ourselves.
I'd love to say something.
Yeah, just 1 second. I want to point out before I forget, when the Rebbe says, about the counterbalances. 1 second. Okay. Which Baal Paroh, which counterbalances Paroh of Kedusha. Okay. So what I understood, I think maybe the Rebbe will get into later, is that we, like when we were busy like doing the past Avodah, we were focused on Zelu Mazeh, right? In like just limited to the 10 spheres. So like there's holy chesed, there's unholy chesed, there's holy gvura, there's unholy gvura. But now the Rebbe is saying that like there's even a higher level of Zelu Mazeh. It's like things that we judged as being wrong, that they're not really wrong. There's really if you just tweak it and you use it the right way, they're actually right. And it's not so simple. It's not like you could figure it out from, like there's nowhere in the Torah that says that you should do self-care. Yeah, you can get it out of here, you can get it out of there, right? Ahavas Yisrael, this and that. But like these are things the Rebbe is going to say further that we have to like expand on like just the letters, like Simcha Chai said last week. There's a whole world out there that's beyond the letters, and the Rebbe says in the Geula Sichos that the Torah of the Torah Chadasha is the Torah that we understood in the past is Hevel, is nothing as compared to the Torah's Mashiach, Torah Chadasha, which we're understanding, because it takes us into a whole new level. It's just you got to get out of the way we thought before. Yeah, and it's not so simple. Where does it say in the Torah that I should do self-care? Where does it say in the Torah that I should say no? Where does it say? So this is like a whole. The Rebbe is saying it's a whole zelu umazeh of Paroh, this is the Tohu Paroh, this is Tohu Torah, which is Torah's Mashiach, of zelu umazeh. And we're going to get into examples, and we're going to talk about it soon. But that's why I want to bring out that this is like a whole new level of zelu umazeh. We're not just limited to the spheres. There are things that are just, it's not written in the black and white. But when you see things that you judged as unholy and wrong, look at them again and see that maybe there's a truth to what they're doing, and use it. And how do you disempower them? By using it for yourself. This doesn't say in the like black and white, there's a difference. But Hashem, you get it from here, you get it from there. You got to stretch the limits and the boundaries of how you're understanding it before. That's what the Rebbe is saying. I want to show you where the Rebbe is saying it, and then we'll talk. Okay. So, and we could say that this is hinted at by Hashem saying before Matan Torah to the Jewish people, and you will be for me a kingdom of Kohanim and a sacred nation, in that even while they are a nation in this material world, they are at the same time even more sacred as a kingdom of Kohanim, high priests. So it's not even that we're the Jewish nation, but we are very special. We have to realize, we have to own that we're not just the Jewish nation, we are like high quality, right? The high stock with the Kohanim, with the high priests. And what's so special? What do we have to own over here? For a Kohen Gadol needs to be complete, both physically and monetarily. Okay, the Rebbe saying. So if we're mamish, we have to have our chava. This is the Rebbe saying it, that we have to own this, that we are worthy of abundance, of everything good, and because it's our birthright. It's not only our birthright, it's like justice for Hashem. It's like that's how Hashem wants us to be, and if we don't think it's important, then we're not really expressing Hashem's the way Hashem wants us to be expressed. Okay, and even his garments needs to be royal and magnificent. We have to dress beautiful. This is like we don't, like in the past, we used to always look down at materialism and all that. Of course, it's not materialism, but we have to understand that we're mamish royal, and we're royal mamish in physical expression. That we have to own that chashivas. The way the Jewish people have found souls within bodies, they are one with Hashem. And when we're living like that, that's like our expression of being one with Hashem. That we're going to walk around with such ashirus, but the ashirus is not going to own us. It's not going to really mean anything to us. But it's gives us that dignity and all that stuff, and the harchava that it brings with it. But we have to really own that this is our truth in order for this to come in eventually at the right time. And I'm going to stop soon because I want to first just get into what the Rebbe says. We have to go above the letters, okay? And in this way, it is continued also in the world, that bonding of the higher and lower worlds achieved by Matan Torah, until there's a revelation of Hashem's essence in the lowest of worlds. Now, since this is somewhat of a great novelty, innovation, that a created being, soul within a limited body, can be united with boundless, even atzmos, Moshe wondered, how is this even possible? Of this he was fearful. Therefore, by way of preparation, Hashem said to Moshe, come to Paroh. For Moshe, as soul within a body, with such great limitations, was entering a situation that could be of great danger because of Paroh Klipa, which counterbalances Paroh Kedusha. Okay, so here we're talking about, again, the Rebbe is saying all the things, it's not just limited to the spheres that we understood Zelu and Zet. We're talking about serious stuff, the things that we think are terrible, ego and there's so many things, jealousy and cruelty and doing things just because it feels good and all that stuff, controlling. There's something true about all of that stuff. This is a whole different, this is the Tohu world. Yet through this, Moshe accessed the pnimius inwardness of Paroh holiness. But if we could look and find what's true about it, then that's how you take away the klipa, and you use it for yourself, and to put you into a better place. And then you receive the loftiest revelations of Asmos, the gushing of all lights. Okay, and when we're doing this work, people who are doing this work are seeing this. Not that we're all there and whatever, but we see that we're mamish in a different place. That we just, things don't get to you. You push it. Every challenge you embrace with love, not from logic. It's because you understand. You understand that it's just here to show you how much more worthy you are. If something didn't work, it's because you deserve something better. So it's like, what am I upset? Of course you heal, if you're upset, you have to feel upset, right? But I'm going to find out at the other end that the reason why this didn't work out is because Hashem wanted something better for me. It's only love. It's only love. When you're doing this work, you start feeling it. You don't have to convince yourself. You just see it so clearly. It's amazing. And through this, in that it was so by Moshe, from here continues the koyach energy for every single Jew to be able to receive the revelations of Matan Torah in a way that it affects the unification of the bound and the unbound. Okay, so it mamish allows us to work as one, the body and soul. There's no contradiction. There's nothing like taking you into two different directions. You're working as a team. You communicate with each other. You figure out how both could be expressed. And we learned it in other classes. I'm not going to get into it. What's the proper way of how to reveal the light of Nefesh Bahamas in a way that the Nefesh Elokus and Bahamas work together. It's getting into the heart, into the body, acknowledging it, and then bringing the mind in to figure out what the best way, without trampling the truth, and the best way how to put it into your life. One second. The gushing of all lights, okay? So all the revelations, through doing this work, we are going to receive all the revelations of Hashem. Slowly but surely, every time Hashem throws something our way, it's only to share another light of Hashem, another revelation. And it's just to tell you how much better life is supposed to be for you. You thought that this was what level you're supposed to reach. You should see, when you get another challenge, that's taking you even higher, and it's just showing how it's just letting you be more free and showing that Hashem loves you even more than before. But it's not from the head. It's from just something that you experience. In that all the lights boundaried are in the way of gushing without boundaries. Okay. And as is known, the Torah mitzvahs in essence are in essence above limitations, being the wisdom and wishes of Hashem. And the novelty of innovation is that not only in the way they are from the aspect of their essence, but also in the way they descend below at Matan Torah in a way of measurement and parameters. For the observance and completion depends specifically on measurement and parameters. So, we still need tikkun, okay? But it's like being able to use everything in a way that just brings your life into a whole new, brings you into geula. It's not like you're saying, okay, we don't need tikkun anymore. It's in a way that you know how to like weave everything together. It's not A, it's not B, it's a baby, it's not a mother or father, it's a baby. And that's the beauty. It's like a little of this, a little of that. And you figure out a third way of how to live like with both truths at the same time in the unbound way, but yet you're very grounded, you're very thought out, you're not chaos, everything with seichel. right? Be it in the Torah where the written Torah has limitations in the form of a specific number of letters, be it in the oral Torah whose study of it requires the use of one's limited intellect and limited human understanding. Only then can one make the blessing of the Torah. And it's certainly true of mitzvahs, for each mitzvah has its own parameter. So the Rebbe is saying here that these are the parameters. He's saying there's the parameters in the Torah, which has limitations, and there's parameters in the oral Torah because you have to use your mind, so and your mind is limited, right? And there's parameters in the mitzvahs because all the mitzvahs have rules. But this is what I want to get to. These parameters themselves will gush beyond their limits. We're going to bust out of their limitations. What we thought it meant, now that we understand a lot more, we could still like be within the law and yet live a whole different life, a geula life, and through knowing how to use it properly. These parameters themselves will gush beyond their limits as the numbers of the Jewish people will become innumerable, and as the physical space taken up by the ark was eliminated, not there. Okay, so we're going to be able to still be Torah observant Jews, but yet not be constricted to what we thought was our truth, the way we thought before. Okay, so we'll expand more on that, but it's like we're going to have a whole new, which was what Simcha Chai explained last week, is like this, the space between the letters, there's a whole world out there. And that's what we're discovering, that all the things that we thought were bad and stay away from, and oh, you're not allowed to say no because people will be insulted. No. You just have to know how to use it. And if you know how to use it in a holy way, it's actually holy because it creates peace, serenity for yourself, for everybody else. Okay, so now anyone want to share something? Nechama, you wanted to share something?
Sure, but do you want to finish what you want and I could share afterwards?
Okay, 1 second. Let me see what time is it. Okay. Okay, 1 second. So let me finish this ice. Okay, so at least we'll know we've finished this ice, and then we can always continue later next week. So from here we learn about the avodah of a Jew upon receiving Torah mitzvahs, even as he is found here below, soul within body, with all of its confines and constraints. In that it is imperative that he stand above all limitations and constraints, not only from the aspect of a soul, the soul which you gave me is pure, which is above the limitations and constraints of the body, but even in the way one is found here below, within the real constraints of time and limitations of his physical body, where one needs Hashem's protection. He has a need of Va'ata Mishamra B'kirbi, and you guard it within me. So we're saying is that basically what I'm understanding is the Rebbe saying that the ultimate is that we're going to be the most grounded, practical people, okay, while connecting to the most out there level of understanding Hashem. In the past, there's people who are not grounded and they're so into this spirituality and understand, right? And there are people who are very practical. Now we're going to fuse the two. We're going to become the most normal, practical, just regular sort of people that have abilities, she'en kamahu, that nothing gets to you, that Hashem does miracles all the time. You don't have to chase things. Things come to you, total surrender. It's a whole different life while we're like regular, normal human beings. Okay, so that's the beauty. But now I want to did I finish this one? This is important. He can and must come to Paroh. Okay, every Jew, the Rebbe is saying, you must do this work. He can and must come to Paroh. He must access the Paroh of Kedusha, where all lights gush forth and receive all heavenly lights. And even more, his limitations themselves must gush all heavenly lights and enter limitlessness. So we got to do this work of expansiveness, and this is through pleasure and self-care and tuning in and being true to ourselves and all the stuff that we thought the hard work and everything we suppressed before. The Rebbe is saying he can and must come to Paroh. He must access Parv Kedusha or all light specials. Okay, this is not optional. This is the only way to be able to be human beings having whatever experiences. How do you say it? Anybody know the words? Human beings having whatever. I forgot the words. My vocabulary is not very. It's not my strength, but at least I know what I try to know what I'm talking about. Okay, so now I want to just give examples of things that I'm going to finish this. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I want to finish this. So at least we know we finished ice. This is because Yisrael and Hashem are one, not only as a soul or part thereof, which is above, but the entire being of a Jew, soul and body, is entirely one with Hashem. We have to include our heart and our body. We can't, if we want to do this work, nothing can be held back. We have to listen to the voice of our body. We have to listen to the emotions. We have to honor them. There's very high truths in them. And when one grasps part of the essence, one grasps into entirety. Hashem, Keser Shem Tov, and that's how we achieve Keser, right? Eshes Chayil Ateres Bala. But that's only when we go in and do this work of redeeming the lights of Tohu and using it for ourselves, the things that we stayed away from before. But that is the way to become one with essence. We cannot become one with essence if we're just stuck on spirituality. Spirituality is the light of the created world. And if we want to connect to the light in a practical way, human beings, being regular people, this is the key, to use the Tohu lights. And it is understood also from halachic imperative of the Rambam that the ultimate reward and completion of existence is specifically as souls enclosed within bodies at the rising of the dead, not as souls without bodies, as in the views of Maimonides. And even more, in the future, the soul will gain its sustenance from the body. Okay, that's how high the truth of the body is. That the soul, the body is more connected to Atzmos than the soul, because the soul is a created light. It's from the world of 10. Okay, at least the nefesh elikus. Okay, so once we do this work, we're not even gonna distinguish between the soul and the body. Everything's one. We're gonna realize everything's Hashem, and more importantly is that the body, because it's a higher light, its soul, the voice of the body, has more information about the truth of Hashem than the spiritual soul. Actually, the spiritual soul does have a part, it's the tikkun part, right? And it has to channel things correctly. That's the job. But at the same time, that's where you're getting everything directly from Hashem through our bodies, the communication. And the more we're living this, the more we see it. It's like I'm hearing from people that they can't live anymore the way they were living before. Hashem doesn't let. The minute they try getting off track, whoa, whack, this doesn't work. That it's right in front of you. You can't even miss it. And then you're on track, you get a reward. You're off track, whack. It's like Hashem is getting very, very loud. And so that's what I wanted to say through here. So I guess that's going to be for the, those are the ICs that we finished. But I just want to getting into the things that we thought were negative and we didn't want to look at, and we thought that, and to see what's holy if you use it the right way. What's holy about those things? So, for example, people who are drunk, or they get their high, right, from drugs. So what's holy about? What's the light, right, of kedusha? Zelum Zeh. What's the light of that? Anybody have an idea?
They're looking for a high. They're looking to get out of their mundane, limited life and getting connected to something transcendence.
Right. So that's it. So what's the holiness of it? That when we use pleasure and self-care, and materiality to take us to the state of Hesach Hadas, the true level, the true place, where we're not drunk and meshuga, but that we're so one with Hashem, so surrendered, so transcendent in mamish in human bodies. We're normal, regular people, but things don't trigger us. Just total emunah b'tachon. Things come to us. That's the holiness. And so, so that's the holiness of being drunk. How about the holiness of entitlement? What's the holiness of entitlement?
We're worthy of everything we need, everything we want.
Exactly.
Deserve,
Right. Okay. So people who are distorting it, they feel entitled to exclusion of all others. Only I deserve it, and you can't. And right, they don't do it the right way. They're not expressing it right. But when there's worthy, I'm worthy, and you're also worthy. Everybody's worthy. Challenges. Okay. So we always look at challenges like it's terrible. If you have challenges, that means that you're doing something wrong. You have to do tshuva. You probably, who knows what sins you're doing. And now, what's the holiness of challenges? What's the light? What was that?
I don't know if anyone else wants to answer. Yeah, go ahead.
You're able to work on what you are supposed to work on.
Mm-hmm. That you see it as a gift, that it's only here to reveal like the greatest love. For example, if let's say you're doing a job that's really not for you, and there's a better job that would bring you more finances and more pleasure and more enjoyment, so the job is not going to work out, right? And here you're complaining, Hashem is so mean, he's not letting the job work out. Well, what happens if he has a better job for you and he's trying to get you there, right? So once you're in this geula mindset, you know right away, I'm sure there's something good over here. I got to find it. I got to figure it out. You tune in and you figure it out. You get help or whatever. You call people to help you figure out what's the message over here. And then you figure out there's something better for you. You go do that like, thank you, Hashem, that didn't work out. But in the past, we always looked at challenges as punishments. Now, it's a reward. It's a gift. You got to this high, I'll take you even higher. You should see how high you could go, that you could be in such a situation and it won't even bother you. Let's show you how that could happen. Or you could have things coming to you like whatever, I'll show you. And if you're open to that, so that's the holiness, right? So there's the way we looked at it before and the way we look at it now. How about, pleasure, right? So we used to look at pleasure, right? Especially chitzonious pleasure, right? Oh, this guy, that's all he wants is pleasure. Nefesh B'Ham, that's all he wants is pleasure. Guess what? Pleasure is very holy when you know how to use it, because it takes you into the level of Hesach Hadas, beyond us. If you use it correctly, it's such a powerful light that it could take you to a place where things don't bother you, but you're grounded and you're healthy and you're good and you're showing up in the right way. Manipulation, okay? People who manipulate, okay? So what's the holiness of manipulation, right? They use other people and they convince them, for their own benefit, and they try to get them to do things, right? What's the holiness? Inspiration. You're so good at convincing people. Inspire them to up their level in a way that they feel good, okay? Instead of criticizing. It's interesting that while we're learning things, I start noticing like the same topic in these Jewish magazines. So it actually had the same topic of things that we thought were unholy are actually holy. And they gave an example of a Tana in the Gemara. He loved to criticize. That was his midah. He loved to criticize, the Ravad, the Ravid or something. And so he channeled that to become a big Paisik in the Torah, whatever. He criticized all the Mefarshim, and he used to criticize the Ramban and the Ramban, and had his own ideas of what he thought was the resolution. So, like criticizing in a good way, it could be holy as well, right? But you have to just know how to use it the right way. What else do I have? Murdering, right? What's a holy murder? Okay, if you go deep, there's probably something even deeper than that. But on a superficial level, being a shaykhet, being a surgeon, Okay, that's superficial. On a whole people level, you could see why does he need a murder and go into that, but you know. Saying no, which is something that somebody shared this week, right? A beautiful piece about saying no. So we used to think you're not allowed to say no because you're going to hurt people and you're going to this and that. But then what did it say? That saying no means saying yes to something that might be more important. But you have to. What's the healing? Is that you have to deliver your no in a nice way. You don't just say no. You say, you know what? I would love to participate in this. It's just that I have to do this. You know, say it with compassion. You know, in the past, you know, a lot of things that, that was another one, the parents, okay? A lot of things that our parents did when we were growing up, we judged. They're totally wrong. They didn't care. They didn't show love. They didn't this and that. And we're going to be different. When we can become parents, we're going to be much better. And we're going to show up for our kids in the way this and that. And what happened? We overcompensated, right? And then we realized that it wasn't really so perfect the way we thought that we're better, right? And now we're going back and we're saying, you know what? They weren't so wrong. But what was wrong is the delivery. The delivery wasn't right. It wasn't done in a way of love, in a way of compassion, in a way of connection. So now we're going back to some of the things that they did and saying, you know, Taka, there is some truth to what you did, the way you raised us. But what was missing was let's say somebody's mother was very self-centered and just cared about herself and this and that. Okay, so now we're learning about self-care and, you know, putting yourself first, but it's done with so much love and compassion, you know, and vulnerability. And if it's done right, it's done in a way that people feel more loved and more seen and more connected, not disconnected the way it was done in the past. But we don't throw out the whole thing. Okay, so that's what we're seeing. What else? Somebody was saying about, I heard a speaker saying that somebody else, a non-Jewish something or other, said that everything is about feeling good. And the speaker was saying that she's wrong. It's not about feeling good. That's not Judaism. Well, the Rebbe says in the Shvuah Sicha that it is about feeling good. The culmination of the Torah is that we should feel at peace and serene and joy at all times. That is the truth. Okay. So who's right and who's wrong? Okay. So the truth is that it is about feeling good, but there's a path to how you get there. Ultimately, the culmination is that we're going to feel good. And even on the path, how do you know you're on the right path? Because you feel at peace. It may be hard. We're not saying it's not hard. And that's where they could be a little wrong. You're not making your choices based on the easy way out. But you're doing, it's a lot of introspection, and you're tuning in and you're seeing, like, what does my heart and my body tell me is the right way? And you can get guidance, right? And then when you do it, it may be hard, but you're feeling joy and you're feeling peace. So yes, the person is right. It is all about feeling good. It's just not the way that people distorted it. That's what's wrong. You see what I'm saying? A lot of things are right at its core, but it's wrong on the delivery or how people went about it. Okay, I mean, there's so many things, but if anybody now wants to share, let me just, one second, what time is it? Okay, so I'm gonna shut off the recording, and then we're gonna have a Fabrengen. So whoever wants to, 1 second. Trying to figure out where my recording is. No, 1 second, pause share. No, stop share, okay. And stop the recording. Yes.